Ready to dive into a world of flapper dresses, overflowing champagne, and hidden heartbreaks?
Oh, absolutely.
We're cracking open F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby today, but forget the Cliff's Notes.
Right.
This is about your experience with the story, the parts that shimmered or stung.
Yeah, it's fascinating how a novel written nearly a century ago still resonates. When you strip away the glitz of the jazz age, Fitzgerald is exploring themes that are timeless.
Yeah.
Love, loss and illusion of the American dream.
It's all there right from the start.
Oh, yeah.
We land in West Egg, Long Island, practically smelling the salt air and bootleg gin.
Right.
But beneath the lavish parties, there's a simmering unease, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Fitzgerald masterfully sets the stage.
Yeah.
He places us right alongside Nick Carraway, our narrator, who's fresh off the train from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Nick's an outsider looking in, drawn to the allure of wealth, but also repulsed by its excesses.
And what about Gatsby himself?
Right.
That air of mystery surrounding him, the whispers about his past.
Yeah.
I mean, throwing those over-the-top parties every weekend. It's like he's screaming for attention, but also hiding in plain sight.
It's a walking contradiction, isn't it? But that's where Fitzgerald brilliantly plays with our perceptions.
Yeah.
Why these extravagant displays?
Yeah.
Is it to impress Daisy to recapture the past? Or is there something deeper and need to prove his worth?
You know, I'd always interpreted those parties as Gatsby's desperate attempt to win Daisy back. But now that you mention it, there's a certain emptiness to them, a loneliness that even all that champagne can't mask.
Exactly. Remember that early scene where Nick describes Gatsby standing alone on his lawn, reaching out to the green light at the end of Daisy's dock?
Oh, yeah.
That image is crucial.
Yeah.
It's not just about romantic longing, it's about yearning for something unattainable.
Right.
A past he can't recreate.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It's like he's trying to buy back time, buy back happiness with those lavish parties and that colossal mansion.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And surrounded by hundreds of guests, Gatsby remains utterly alone.
Yeah.
Even when he finally reunites with Daisy, there's a sense of disconnect, a gulf between the dream he's clung to and the reality of their encounter.
And we see that dissonance reflected in the other characters too, don't we?
Absolutely.
Tom Buchanan with his old money and air of entitlement. Yeah. He's threatened by Gatsby, by the new money and ambition he represents.
And then there's Daisy, caught in this gilded cage of her own making.
Right.
She's drawn to Gatsby, to the excitement and possibility he represents. But she's also afraid to rock the boat, to lose the security and social standing she's always known.
It's as if Fitzgerald is deliberately placing these characters on a collision course. You can practically feel the tension building as their desires and secrets start to unravel.
And that brings us to the central question that drives the entire novel. Can we ever truly escape our past?
It's like you can just feel it, right? All that tension, all those secrets bubbling under the surface.
Like a champagne bottle about to burst.
Exactly. And Fitzgerald doesn't shy away from showing us the wreckage.
Not at all.
Remember that scene in the Plaza Hotel? The truth just explodes. Gatsby's carefully constructed facade just shatters.
It's such a pivotal scene.
It leaves me breathless every time. You've got Gatsby bearing his soul, clinging to this idealized vision of Daisy, and then Tom chipping away at him, exposing his past.
And Daisy caught in the middle.
It's brutal.
She has to confront her own feelings, her own role in all of this. And in that moment, the illusion of Gatsby as this romantic hero ready to rescue her, it crumbles.
Yeah, and you see Gatsby realize that he can't recreate the past, that the Daisy he loved, the Daisy he built his whole life around, she's gone.
And that's the tragedy, isn't it? He truly believed that by accumulating wealth, by throwing these lavish parties, he could win her back.
Like those things could fill the void.
Exactly. And that's Fitzgerald's genius. He's holding up a mirror to that era, the excesses of the jazz age, the pursuit of pleasure and status, and asking us, is this all there is?
It makes you think. And amidst all this drama, this love triangle gone wrong, we have George Wilson.
Right.
He's a stark reminder that actions have consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
George Wilson, a man driven by grief and manipulated by Tom, becomes the instrument of Gatsby's downfall.
Tragic. And it underscores that this isn't a game. These characters' choices have very real consequences.
And those consequences ripple outward.
You do.
Think about Nick. He comes to West Egg seeking excitement, opportunity, a taste of that American dream.
Yeah, and what does he find?
Broken lives, shattered dreams, a profound sense of disillusionment.
He sees the ugliness beneath the surface, the moral decay.
And it forces us to confront that central question. Is the American dream, this idea that happiness can be achieved through material success, is it all an illusion?
Yeah, it's like Gatsby's death. It becomes this powerful symbol.
It does. It's the death of a dream. The illusion is shattered. And that green light,
Gone.
extinguished. It makes you wonder, was it ever really within reach?
Right. Or was he chasing a ghost this whole time? Something that never really existed.
A figment of his own imagination, perhaps.
And that final line of the book, it gets me every time. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
Haunting, isn't it?
It really is.
It speaks to the hold the past has on us. No matter how hard we try to move forward, we're constantly pulled back.
Trapped by those currents.
In a way, Gatsby's tragedy wasn't just about lost love. It was about the impossibility of escaping who we are, where we come from.
And it makes you wonder if any of them ever stood a chance. Even Daisy. I mean, she had the wealth, the privilege, but even she seemed trapped.
Absolutely. Don't forget, this was the Jazz Age, a time of immense social upheaval, especially for women.
Right.
Daisy, for all her outward freedom, was still bound by the expectations of her world.
So she's torn. On the one hand, this desire for love, for excitement, and on the other, the safety and security of her marriage.
Exactly. And that conflict, that tension, it makes her complicit in the tragedy.
You're right.
Remember, she chooses to stay silent about what really happened the night Myrtle was killed.
She lets Gatsby take the fall.
She does.
And that's it, isn't it? That moment of choice, that act of carelessness, it seals his fate.
And it speaks to a larger theme that runs through the entire novel. When you say
absolutely.
this carelessness, this disregard for consequences, we see it time and time again.
Gatsby with his relentless pursuit of Daisy.
Tom with his infidelity, his cruelty.
And Daisy with her moments of recklessness, of denial.
It's like Fitzgerald is issuing a warning.
Yeah.
When we prioritize our desires above all else, when we refuse to take responsibility for our actions, there are consequences.
And in this case, those consequences are devastating.
They are. And not just for Gatsby. Everyone around him is touched by this tragedy.
It's a powerful reminder about the choices we make, the dreams we pursue, the compromises we're willing to make along the way.
It's a story that stays with you, don't you think?
It does.
It makes you question. About the allure of the American dream, about the seductive power of the past, and ultimately, about the consequences of our choices.
The Great Gatsby. It's a story for the ages, a story that challenges us to look beyond the surface, to examine our own hearts, and to remember that even in the darkest moments, there's always a glimmer of hope.
There is.
And for those who want to explore further, we encourage you to revisit the book to find those passages that resonate most deeply with you, because The Great Gatsby offers endless layers of meaning, endless opportunities for reflection.